No man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is Psych Hacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is most people don't really want relationships. Most people, this means men and women, most people do not really want relationships. And as we'll see, this will go far toward explaining why both sex and relationships are at historically all-time lows, especially in younger heterosexual populations. Fewer young people than ever before are having sex, and fewer young people than ever before are entering into relationships. Why might this be the case? Well, as I said, this is because most people don't really want a relationship. Remember, relationships are the medium in which value is transacted. If you already possess the proposed value, or if you can obtain it more easily or more cheaply or more safely elsewhere, there is no need to enter into the transaction. Look at it like this. No one really wants a job. They want a job because of what a job can give them, namely money. If people could get what they wanted, money, more easily, more cheaply, or more safely elsewhere, then they probably wouldn't go looking for a job. But for the vast majority of people, a job is the only way they know to get money. So they go looking for a job. That said, they don't really want the job, they want the money. And if they had the money, they wouldn't go looking for the job. Okay, so the same basic premise holds true with respect to heterosexual relationships, especially in today's day and age. Most people don't really want a relationship. They want what the relationship can give them. And if they can get those things more easily, more cheaply, or more safely elsewhere, then we would expect them not to enter into relationships as frequently. So what do men and women want from relationships? Well, they want all kinds of things. But in general, men are trading resources, that is time, energy, attention, and money, for sexual opportunity. And women are trading sexual opportunity for resources, time, attention, energy, and money. If either sex could more easily, more cheaply, and more safely get what they wanted in places besides relationships, we should predictably see the number of relationships decline, and that's exactly what's happening. Now, there are two major culprits behind this decline in relationships, especially in the 20-something demographic: pornography and social media. And this is very interesting because it's generally men who have problems with pornography, and it's generally women who have problems with social media. This obviously isn't always the case, but it does seem to fall along gendered lines. First, let's take a look at men in porn. Remember, what men generally want from relationships is to trade resources for sexual opportunity. If they could get sexual opportunity without exchanging resources or exchanging far fewer resources, then they are rationally going to move in that direction. And that's exactly what porn offers men. Porn offers men free, immediate and dependable sexual opportunity. And this is only going to improve in the coming years with artificial intelligence and virtual reality. And rather than transact his one bundle of resources for sexual opportunity from one specific woman, he can now transact his one bundle of resources for sexual opportunity from an unlimited number of women on the internet. Men are not only able to buy sexual opportunities from porn far more.
Do you see the complexity? You can't just, no disrespect to the sister Ebony K. Williams, you just can't say, when you get your degree, sister, go get a ring. It's too complex to just make that statement. The sister is intelligent. I'm not saying what she said doesn't make sense. I'm just simply saying this is such a layered, relationships are such a layered and nuanced kind of thing. And he didn't even talk about the spiritual aspect. He didn't even speak about that. He said, we're going to take the path of least resistance in order to get what we want. I said it before. People are going into relationship to receive. They're not going into relationships to give. But you want to be like your grandmama and them. Your grandmother knew, you know what your grandmother and them knew that this generation has no clue about? Endurance. Stick-to-itiveness. They knew, hey, this ain't easy. We gonna have to work in order for this thing to work. Do you understand? This is a heavy topic. Listen, you're listening to the Voice of Reason on KBLA Talk 1580. And tonight's topic is one of those ones, man. Length of relationship versus the depth of relationships. And for many people, he said, this brother Kendrick said, listen, most people don't want to be in a relationship. No, I'm saying most people are afraid of the real purpose of relationship. The real purpose of relationship is about exposing you. It's about stripping you naked. Wounds and all. Your wounds got to get butt naked. Strip them wounds down. That's where the work is. Your partner's not responsible for clothing and unclothing your wounds. You are. And that's too much work. Technology is designed for convenience. But nirvana, moksha, self-realization, enlightenment is work. And that's what relationship spiritual purpose is. It's to evolve you. It's to grow you up spiritually. And that is the scariest work you'll ever do. So it's easy to say, I'm out. I'm not getting what I want. See, when I come home from work, I need a sandwich, the game, slippers. And then after all of that, I need that wet. I need that good shit, good shit. That's what I need. Get ready. So you know how men do? They come in and say, I need peace in my house. What you think this is? I'm out there fighting the world. The world is a bear, and I need peace. I'm covered in honey. No, peace is an inside job. Just like happiness, just like self-approval, just like self-acknowledgement, just like self-acceptance. This is all inside work. Right? Come on, man. The notion of an enduring love, akin to our grandparents' decades-spanning relationship, often leaves us in awe. We long for a love that withstands the test of time, a love story for the ages. But as we navigate the complex landscape of modern-day relationships, it becomes increasingly apparent that the length of a relationship doesn't necessarily define its success. On this show, tonight, hour number 2, we're going to delve deep into the multifaceted dimensions of relationship quality. dissecting its nuanced components, and addressing key questions that challenge our conventional beliefs about the duration of love. Self-awareness, man. Relationships will teach you that. That is the foundation of relationship quality, is self-awareness. How well do you know yourself? And how much do you accept yourself? Where there's a gap in accepting yourself, there will be a gap in people accepting you. Listen, you're not truly human until you embrace your whole self. And if you can't be a complete, flawed human in a relationship, you are not relationship material. I don't give a damn how much money you got, how many degrees you got. Regarding intimate relationships, you can't have what you want until you become it. Otherwise, you're chasing it. Are y'all listening? 1-800-920-1580. At the heart of any meaningful relationship lies self-awareness, understanding one's self, sense of self, one's values, desires, and emotional triggers forms the foundation upon which quality relationships are built. Self-awareness allows us to communicate our needs effectively, fostering empathy and connection with others. If you can't empathize with you, how can you empathize with someone who is in need of your understanding, who's in need of your compassion? And then how can it be reciprocal? How can that energy flow back and forth in the relationship? If there's parts of you that you don't like and you refuse to acknowledge without judgment. Oh my goodness. Different purposes creates different lengths in the relationships. Ooh, Lord. Relationships, like the seasons, serve varying purposes in our lives. Some are brief but intense, akin to the burst of color in a fall leaf, leaving indelible memories and lessons. Others are like the steady, nurturing embrace of spring, offering stability and companionship over the years. The key is recognizing that the value of a relationship transcends its duration. Short-lived connections can be profound and transformative, while long-term commitments can be stagnant and unfulfilling. I know y'all don't want to hear it put that way. Grandmama and them probably was struggling. But she made sure them boiled chicken wings, that tomato soup with them crackers, them saltine crackers. She made sure them salmon croquettes was crispy. She made sure that cornbread was sweet and fluffy like cake. She made sure it was all right, despite what she was enduring. And many of us in this microwave society refuse to endure anything uncomfortable, especially the act of looking at ourselves. When I come forward, the voice of reason is going back to the phone lines. Let's get it.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are now in Big Tobacco's fantasy land. Welcome. It's a healthier world where they want you to believe that vaping makes quitting cigarettes a breeze. Never mind the evidence that vaping leads to using both. And if you're younger, even better. Teens who vape are 3 times likelier to use cigarettes. In Big Tobacco's Fantasyland, the deadliest industry is your friend.
Big Tobacco's idea of smoke-free is a dangerous fantasy for us all. See reality at undo.org.
Extreme heat can make you very sick and can be deadly. For Californians 65 and over, it's important to have a plan. Ask your healthcare provider if your medications affect your ability to cool down. Know the signs of heat illness and stroke, as well as the location of your nearest cooling center or air-conditioned space. And if you have loved ones over 65, be sure to check in on them on hot days. Learn how to stay safer from extreme heat at heatreadyca.com. Brought to you by the state of California.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam, from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
If you're a veteran with a service-connected disability that is directly impacting your ability to work, resources are available to help you find employment. VA's Veteran Readiness and Employment, or VR&E, can assist you with finding a job that uses your existing skills. Or, if you're interested in exploring a new field, a VR&E counselor can help you determine the right education or training options for a new career. Find out if VR&E is right for you by visiting va.gov/VRE today.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the Black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the Black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council. You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
This person had a comment on my TikTok. I have a TikTok account as well. I did a video where I answered the question of why asking her what she's looking for is pointless. Because a lot of you guys, you're thinking, this is where guy logic gets you in trouble, guys. You're thinking, okay, I want a woman, but I want something that's long-term. How do I know if she wants long-term? I know what I'll do. On that first or second date, I'm going to ask her, so what are you looking for? Are you looking for a long-term relationship? You're looking for a short-term relationship? Are you looking for just a friends with benefits hookup? Like, what are you looking for? And then we think logically, if I ask her that question, she's going to say, you know what? I hadn't thought about it, but I think I want a short-term. And then you're going to respond, that's great. You know what? I thought I want something long-term, but I could do a short-term in the meantime. Yeah, let's do that. That to me is like the stupidest thing ever. But again, I understand why. At one point in my life, I'm sure I was probably thinking like, okay, how can I tell the difference between like a girl that wants to just hook up with me and that be it versus like be in a relationship? I get it, because you're thinking that's the logical thing, right? Like just like it's like on a platter. Which of these options do you want to do? And I'll do it, right? But here's the thing. So this guy said, I feel a way around this is asking on your first date, what are they looking for? Example, long-term, short-term, casual, etc., right? And here's what I try to stress to you guys, is that you're thinking, because you're like this, that you're going to go on 1 or 2 dates, and after 1 or 2 dates, you're going to determine, I don't know if I date this girl long term, but I would totally do a short term with her for a little bit. Like, you're assuming, because that's how you're processing how you get with whoever you want to get with, that women are processing it the same way. So you're thinking after 1 or 2 good dates, she's already made the decision, this guy, I don't know if I'd see him in a long term, but I could do this little short term hookups, or I don't know if I do short term with him because I really see more as a long term thing. So I would and this is where I try to explain to you guys, women are coming at dating from a whole different thought process, from a whole different process altogether in terms of how they're going about it. Because you might have a woman that on date 1 says, okay, I'm going to give this guy a shot. Let's see what he has. And that is an offer whereby she has no context yet of what you're going to be. Like, she's going to this fully open saying, okay, let's see what this guy has to offer. And then depending on how he makes me feel, we'll go to the next step. And so for women, at least based on my experience, because again, if they're watching this, if I'm wrong, let me know. But in my experience, for women, it's more about steps. Like, okay, he's taking me on a date. He showed me a good time. He's not being too overly gross. He's not trying to touch me too much. He's making me laugh. He's vibrant. You know what? This was a good date. So you know what? If he asked me for a second one, I'd totally do it. That's step number 2. Step number 2, okay, great. We're on this second date now. Okay, he's still bringing up stuff about me, and he's asked me questions, and he's touched me a little bit, but I feel like the touch is really, really nice, and he smells really good, and he's trying to kiss me. Oh, do I want to kiss him? How was the kiss? Okay, you know what? Overall, the feeling of this date, also great. Step 3, now he's trying to make the big moves. He's trying to ask me up to his place to make dinner with me, but I know what that means. He's trying to go for a hookup, but do I want to hook up? How's he going to act?
Woo, he breaking down the whole process. Ladies and gentlemen, the VOR, your brother, the voice of reason, Zoe Williams, live from KBLA Talk 1580. We're having a wide-ranging, nuanced discussion, man, and it's powerful. I want a relationship like my grandparents had. They were together for 50 years. Why, the length of a relationship doesn't necessarily indicate how successful it was. Very deep conversation. We always fantasize and aggrandize our grandparents' their relationship just based on, the length of it. We don't, listen, my great-grandmother had a boyfriend by the name of Goldie. Now, I don't know what Goldie was into, but he was in his 90s when I was a little kid. I was 10, 11. Goldie was old. But I always thought to myself, his name is Goldie? Now, as I got into my teens and later my early 20s, I started to, Goldie's a pimp name. What was Goldie? Goldie, what was you into? And you out here with my big mama? And she always gave Goldie the biggest piece of chicken. He got his plate first. Y'all ain't even married. Big mama, who is Goldie? Where Goldie from? I had to... Do you understand? We don't know the nuances or the whatever traumatic things that were going on with our grandparents' relationship, or with our parents, our mother and father's relationship, for that matter. So let's think about it. Did your grandmother ever come to y'all and say, Pawpaw gave me a UTI? Because we do hear the story about Pawpaw having a family on the other side of town. Ooh, we didn't get quiet. Now it's quiet. See, y'all don't want to have adult conversation. Back then it was called, they had something called VD. Pawpaw gave Big Mama VD. No, nobody. That conversation we weren't, okay. But we want to fantasize about Big Mama and them relations. We don't know. We don't know what was endured. We just think because they were together a long time that it was successful. That's not necessarily the case. 1-800-920-1580. The phone lines are absolutely bananas tonight. Let's get these callers in. Who's been on the longest? Nzinga, Pensacola, Florida. Jump in here.
Hey, good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Hey.
This is a really good topic, Mr. Zoe, because I can surmise. Sometimes people have fantasized about their grandparents' relationships, but we would have never known. But with the advent of social media and people can voice their opinions and concerns and their wants more. So I guess people have always wanted this. But just kind of piggybacking off of you and the gentleman who, preceded me, JW said something real important. I don't even think, and this is just me, I could be wrong, people may not even be mature enough to have a relationship like their grandparents had, just based off the things you've been describing.
Come on.
Are you prepared for those lean times? When you eating chip beef compared to when there's a lot of meat on the bone?
Come on.
Are you prepared for that? When we're looking at our grandparents' relationship, what piece, because as a child, I'll be 45 this year. My grandmother's mother was a sharecropper. She was born at the end of slavery. Her mama was a slave. Was enslaved. And this is based off what my grandmother's sisters talked about. So the length of those relationships was based on something different. It was more like a survival thing, I want to say. Okay, we can get along. Let's have these children. When we're running around as kids, we don't know we don't know, like you spoke about, the VDs and the UTIs. We don't really know the dynamics. We know Grandpa went in that room every night and Grandma was over here, but we didn't pay attention because we too busy having fun. But you want their relationship. So to me, it's always interesting. What piece of that relationship do you want? You want your grandmother's servitude?
Ooh, come on. That's what I was waiting for. Thank you. Keep going.
But so, what piece of that do you want? Her, being silent? Because, and don't get me wrong, sometimes as a woman, it is our power is in our silence. I think Kelly Soul has said that a few times. So, our power is in our silence. But I'd be curious to know, I'd be curious to get the answer. What piece of that relationship do you want? And so sometimes when I see those things or people saying that, it's like you don't even know your grandparents outside of them being your grandparents. What type of people were they? Do you really want to be? Because Grandpa worked at the foundry from 3 a.m. to 1, and then he went down to the quarry from 4 to 12. Ooh. Are you prepared to be that man? You just can't have their relationship a la carte.
Right.
You have to take it in its totality. But also on the other side of that, Mr. Zoe, I see it as maybe people, that's the last time that they saw or felt love too.
Got it.
So there's that aspect as well. Maybe the grandparents was the last person that they really felt loved them. So maybe they want to emulate that too. So, it's like I said, I'll be curious to see what piece of the relationship that they do want.
Thank you so much for that, Nzinga. We appreciate the call.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. Pensacola, Florida is in the building. I'm upset one of our Southern California callers just dropped. Judy, get back in here. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. Now, Attila, please bear with me. I got to bring on Reggie because he's at work. Austin, Texas. Reggie, stay with me, bruh. Stay with me. When we come forward, we going to Austin, Texas.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Senate leaders on both sides of the aisle are calling for the House to avoid a government shutdown. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said on the Senate floor that House Republicans need to stop catering to the whims of the hard right. Kentucky Republican and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said his colleagues need to pass short-term funding legislation and avoid a harmful and unnecessary government shutdown. The black U.S. soldier who crossed into North Korea without permission is back in American custody. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller thanked China and Sweden for helping U.S. Army Private Travis King leave North Korea. King was taken into North Korea custody in July after he bolted across the DMZ during a tour. And the Portland Trail Blazers have reportedly agreed to send NBA superstar Dame Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks as part of a 3-team deal. I'm Esther Dillard on the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the Accident Guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? Call the Accident Guys, because unlike other firms, an attorney will negotiate your case, not a paralegal.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Learn more at chase.com/business premier. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Account subject to credit approval. Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank. Any member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need love, doctor, and I need it right away. I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need to hear the doctor's voice, Sabrina.
Yo, so I got this two-timing chick who got her revenge from when I was on my two-time tip. And even when I tried to correct it, she couldn't get past how she was disrespected, neglected my effort, a pair with no trust, dirty games and affairs that been tearing us up. If things ain't picture perfect, is it really worth it? I have an idea, but I need to know for certain.
I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need love, doctor, and I need it right away. I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need to hear the doctor's voice, Sabrina.
Ladies and gentlemen, the VOR back up in the building. KBLA Talk 1580. Tonight's topic has been absolutely bonkers. Let's get to these callers because they've been on the line for a long time. Let's get them in here ASAP. Reggie from Austin, then Attila from Houston, Texas, then Judy from Covina. Reggie, talk to me.
What's up, Zoe? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm alive and well. How are you, brother?
All good, man. All good. There was a caller before, and I forget who it was, but he was talking about pain. And he said that pain was a great teacher, and I agree with that. Mm-hmm. But I think if I wait until I experience pain before I let go of what isn't working for me, then I'm probably going to waste a lot of time before I develop. I think we have to listen to the stories of other people, and not just the successes, but their failures too.
Right. Insight versus hindsight. I got you.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want to know how they dealt with things back in those days and how they made it through, or how they decided to separate and not kill each other as they were separating. You know what I'm saying? I need to know how they worked out their failures, or how they resolved their failures, and whatever it was. Because some people dealt with misery back in the days, and they were married for 25 years and miserable for 20. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that.
Right.
I think we have to embrace our entire self. And if you embrace your entire self, that includes embracing your past. Mm-hmm. That includes embracing your pain, the decisions that you made, things like that. That's how you change your failure to a success. Right. You pass it on to somebody else so that they don't have to live through the stuff that you did.
Right.
So it's a lot of stories out there, man.
Right.
As far as the success stories and as far as the failures.
Right.
And I'm going to take all of those and incorporate what works into my life and leave the rest of the stuff out. And that way I can leave better than I came.
Man, I could smoke a bag of that if I smoked. Reggie, you brought Austin, Texas in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, you know what you got to do. Just call me right now, 1-800-920-1580. This is an amazing discussion. Like I said, it's a discussion, a conversation, not a monologue. And you guys have been holding up your end of the bargain. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Attila, Houston, Texas. Cornerstone versus Stepping Stone. Let's see if you fumbled through the pages. Let's go.
And I have. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Alrighty, so cornerstone relationships are the romantic idea The stuff that movies and greeting cards are made of. Pause. The stepping stones are relationships rightly perceived, are not second-class relationships. Stepping stones can be vitally important. What you give and receive in a stepping stone relationship prepares both of you for the next situation in each of your lives.
Is that what are you reading from? What book is that?
It's called The Relationship Dismount. This is the chapter called Relationship as a Vehicle, folks. Get it, get it, get it.
Hey, Attila, and what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Yeah, so I don't want a relationship like my grandparents.
Nice.
No.
Why?
I mean,
Why?
not... Okay, let me explain. So there were some great parts. My grandfather was an amazing provider, right? The reason why I rep Texas so hard is really because of him. His house was burned down 3 times by the Klan as a child. They became sharecroppers. There's a lot of history there. He taught, my mom and her sisters how to be a hard worker, how to be diligent. What he did not teach them is how to love a woman properly.
Man, we need that book, How to Love a Woman Properly. With all the incel brothers out here right now who low-key hate sisters. I mean, literally hate sisters, want to harm sisters, right? I mean, like, it's a lot of goofiness out here. Oh, my goodness. That book needs to be written. I think I am writing it currently. But if you don't have the Relationship Dismount, just go to Amazon.com. It's exclusively available there. The Relationship Dismount by Zoe Williams. It's called, I'm forgetting the title again, The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship. Available in multiple formats on Amazon.com. Go there right now. Support. Attila, your grandfather, he was a mean guy then, huh? Had a little edge.
He was, you know what? It's so weird because, I recognize him as Papa. He was always sweet to us, sweet to my mom and her sisters to some level, but the way he treated my grandmother is like night and day.
Heavy stuff.
And so I think that, and that produced something within my mother and her sisters where it was kind of like, I won't ever let a man treat me like this. Right. Mind you, but they were well taken care of. So there's this weird dichotomy between the princess narrative of wanting to be taken care of, but not being wanted to be taken care of by men, which is weird.
No, I get it. Attila, man, I love it when you call in. Such insight for such a young soul. You're probably an old soul, but a young person. I appreciate you for calling in. Thank you. You brought Houston, Texas. Texas runs the shop once again. LA, where are you? Well, right here. Judy from Covina. Thank you for representing the Southland. Get in here, Judy.
Okay, I am excited. I want to go back to your caller from Pensacola.
Yes.
She raised some good questions, and I want to give some feedback. I think that men and fathers don't come to the table like Grandpa. They develop into that. They wouldn't go to the coal mine and work unless they were trying to provide for their family. And those hours that she mentioned, that was because he wanted something better for his family, so he worked like that. Grandma may not have been the cook that we all remember when she first got married. But when she had her babies and she was making meals and she wanted them to be nutritious and delicious, she developed into that great cook with all that great food that we all remember. So I think that we're shortchanging ourselves by thinking that Grandma and Grandpa, at sometimes marrying at 15 years old, and with very little education, they developed, they grew into, but it was based on wanting to provide, wanting to love, wanting to have something better for their families. So I just wanted to...
Let me say this, Judy.
Yes?
You have to factor in technology and the changing of the world. So back then, a woman could drop out of school in the 8th grade, and then by the time she's 14 or whatever, have a kid or 2 kids, right? Back then it was different, right? That you were being taught how to, quote unquote, how to be a woman. You were being taught how to be in the kitchen. The world is different now. They didn't have Uber Eats.
Yes.
They didn't have Amazon Fresh. They didn't have the stuff that we have today. And the same with the brothers. Back, my grandfather, I remember getting a whooping. My grandfather was supposed to be babysitting me for my mom. I was like 5 or 6 years old. And I got my little short set covered in motor oil because I'm sitting next to him while he's out here fixing on a car. Now, he was fine with me handing him the tools. Hey, boy, hand me the wrench. I gave him the wrench. Boy, hand me that hammer. I gave him the hammer. And then when I got up, I had oil on my pants, and I got a whooping for it. And listen, you got oil on the brand new short set I just bought. Anyway, but he was raised during a time, right, where he had to have a trade. So if you get Daniel Pink's book, right, A Whole New Mind. Daniel Pink used to be the speechwriter for former President Bill Clinton. He wrote a book talking about how Industry 4.0 is going to revolutionize the world. And in the book, he was explaining how an MFA is becoming more important than an MBA, Master's in Business Administration. He was saying, Master's in Fine Arts, right? Because technology is to the point where I remember back in the day, there was a discernible difference between a Toyota and a Ford. Ford meant fix or repair daily. And every time you talk to your uncle, he'd be like, that Honda gonna ride forever now. You go get that Honda or that Toyota, that's gonna ride. You gonna be good, get that one. Don't get that Ford. But technology is to the point now where all of the cars are virtually technologically sound. So what sells the car? What drives the emotion? It's the look of it. So now you need a master of fine art to create a piece of art that will move a person to purchase a car that he really can't afford. Do you see? So in the book, Daniel Pink is explaining the old way. Computers and machines are now starting to mechanize the trade. Right? Now we're into the knowledge worker. You got to have some kind of knowledge. And now the knowledge worker is being taken over by AI. So now you got to have something creative. So again, you got a different kind of man. You can't expect him to have hard, rough. My granddaddy's hands was like monkey knuckles. It was like gorilla hands. You touched the man's hands, it felt like rocks. It's a different time. Do you understand? So to have those old school expectations is kind of, it's kind of sketchy. Talk to me.
Yeah, you definitely are correct on you have to be with the times. But I think the real basis of what marriage is about is love and building families, that kind of thing. That is still true. And so
I agree
like
with you.
my parents being married 60 years, and I saw a lot of the ups and downs and a lot of downs, but there's a saying, the triumph of marriage is staying together.
Yes.
And when you see a couple that's been together and the love they have for each other, the respect, the care that they take of each other, the pride they have in what they did together, the children, it's something that we still should strive for.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but I also believe this younger generation does not care about that. They do not value that. Go ahead. You finish your thought.
But how is it that we're going to, as far as black people, for example, we're not thinking about
Judy,
furthering the race.
Wait, Judy, stay with me because I want you to finish this point, but we got to move forward. But just stay with me. I'm going to come right back to you. When we come forward, more from Judy out of Covina. She's cooking.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Is your eyesight changing?
I can't read this anymore.
Don't lose hope. People just like you are working every day using Braille, screen magnification, speech technology, and other tools and blindness skills. Your eyesight may have changed, but your goals, they don't have to. We can help. Visit us on the web at blind.org. The National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCEL scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
You know you want some more. More. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan, let me rock it, Chaka Khan. Let me rock it, that's all I wanna do. Chaka Khan, let me rock it, Chaka Khan. Let me rock it, let me feel for you. Chaka Khan, what you tell me what you wanna do? Do you feel for me the way I feel for you? Chaka Khan, let me tell you what I wanna do. I wanna love you, wanna hug you, wanna squeeze you too. And let me take it in my arms, let me feel you with my charm, Chaka. Cause you know that I'm the one to keep you warm, Chaka. I make it more than just a physical dream. I wanna rock you, Chaka, baby, cause you make me wanna scream. Let me rock it, rock it.
You're tuned in to the greatest relationship talk show in America. The Voice of Reason, live on KBLA Talk 1580. I want somebody to feel for me the way Shaka felt this record. Boy, feel for me. I want that real connection, that quality connection, man. So many people just don't know how to cultivate it. They're so selfish and greedy and self-centered. They're here for what they can get. Judy, get back in here and wrap up your thought, because you were saying something very profound, and I'd like to get it before we wrap it up.
Well, I definitely appreciate what you're saying just now, saying you want that love like Chaka Khan is talking about, and that is, I believe that is developed. Young people are cheating themselves out of growing and, becoming when you think it's all going to be a certain way right now. So even though the times have changed and we're in a different time, the real foundation of what it's all about is still the same, and that is you're going to grow old. Do you want to be 80 out there when you're trying to be in the club and all that and not have anybody to,
right.
when your thing ain't thanging anymore and,
when your thing ain't thanging,
so,
Lord have mercy.
And then you're trying to find somebody to cook for you, to take you to the doctor. It's like you're going to, I love the way you use the word cultivate. You have to cultivate the relationship. Cultivate the life that you want, the future. You can't just think about right now, today.
Right. I love it. Judy, you're more than welcome to call in any time. You have a seat at the table. Do you know what you just did? Do you know?
What?
You brought Covina into the building. We appreciate you for calling in. Hey, tomorrow, I got another heater, right? I got another heater lined up for y'all tomorrow. And listen, let me tell y'all, I'm not trying to be right. I'm trying to push the narrative, the conversation. Whenever anybody talks about relationship, it's not just cut and dry. Whenever you hear a cut and dry response, that's when you know somebody hasn't really thought it out. Just remember, the success of a relationship is not etched in stone, right, of the time, but rather in the depth of connection, the personal growth that connection fosters, and the alignment of values and goals. By embracing self-awareness, valuing relationships for their unique purpose, in my opinion, their spiritual purpose, and balancing stability within new connections or with new connections, we can redefine our understanding of relationship success. Ultimately, the most successful relationships are those that enrich our lives regardless of their duration. Just because Granny and Pawpaw were together for 50 years, again, doesn't necessarily mean it was a happy 50 years. Fulfillment. How do we share in each other's personal fulfillment? That's a relationship. I'm rooting for your process. I'm rooting for your fulfillment. I'm rooting for your happiness. And that mutuality is where you're rooting for me. You're rooting for my emotional health, right? You're cheering me on to do the work that only I can do. I'm not here to ask you to emotionally fulfill me, but I would love if you would cheer me on as I cultivate my own emotional IQ. A lot of times, man, we want somebody to do it for us, right? We want somebody to do it for us. Nobody can make you happy. Only you are responsible for forest fires. Only you are responsible for your happiness. Look, Jill Monroe is up next. RSVP with Jill Monroe. The fire continues. The voice of reason will be back in here for his Friday tomorrow. We're going to keep it cooking. Holla at y'all. Deuces.
Pay attention.